stream 8:30. I'm on about 15 minutes later than usual. Had to get some stuff going down. Had to really try to get some stuff. I'm gonna put a pinned comment in here just to gauge interest from everybody to see. Can't post. I don't care about not posting it to some channels, but I'm gonna put this in here, and I'll actually show this too, so people can see it. So it's Tuesday morning, few hours, 3.5 hours before Spurs come to the bridge and play against Chelsea, and probably the biggest game of the season, in my opinion. There's a possibility that we send Spurs possibly packing through the championship if we win this game today. Not only can we not lose to Tottenham at home, we cannot afford to drop any more points realistically. I mean, if Chelsea really care about the last two games of the season, they go out and try to get 6 points to at least qualify for Europe in some capacity. But the way that they've been playing in the league, there's no indication that we're going to get any kind of European football for next season. So I've also expanded this to Facebook. I won't be on Twitter for a few days in terms of streaming it. I need to take care of some things first before I get back on there. But there's a lot to talk about, bro. Like, there's a lot that needs to be talked about here. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Joao Pedro again. Now, I don't need to pull anything up. I can just give my raw opinions on this. I still think it's an absolute disgrace that he's not in the squad. And Carlo Ancelotti did come out and, says he does feel bad for players like Joao Pedro that didn't make the squad, but you're including players like Neymar, a guy that's well past his best, a guy that's only played 600 minutes this entire season. What has he done to earn his place? If you're going off of what he's done in the past, I mean, sure, add him to the squad. But again, there's no justification to leave out Joao Pedro in the squad. And now it's seeming like, because he's not in the Brazilian national team, I've seen some stuff before I got on about how, he's frustrated with Chelsea and all. I'm like, I don't believe that. The Spanish media is just trying to cause up a stir. And we just need to be cautious with what they're reporting, because, of course, they're going to do more of the side of, we're going to go ahead and try to get anything we can to get this man to Barcelona. I don't think he's leaving to Barca. I just think it's a lot of PR from the Spanish side that is trying to stir up some type of drama within the Chelsea camp, even though there's already enough being stirred up as it is. I don't think he's leaving. There needs to be a major discussion on how the process of selecting some of these players is being looked at. Gabriel Martinelli should be nowhere near this Brazilian squad, bro. Igor Thiago, a guy that's had a brilliant season at Brentford, has only had 2 caps with Brazil. Endrick, a guy that wasn't getting a lick of game time at Real Madrid, finds a way to get into this Brazilian team over Joao Pedro. It doesn't make any sense. And I've also spoken on how Cole Palmer shouldn't be anywhere near this England team for the World Cup, because he doesn't deserve to go whatsoever. And I have a comment posted on here to gauge people's reaction to it, because I've been hit up a few times saying that I'm crazy for saying that Cole Palmer should be in the squad. Why should he be in the squad? What has he done this season to justify his position in the England squad? I just want to know from people that supposedly watch this sport, what has Palmer done this season to justify his spot in the England squad? I just want to know. He's my favorite player also, guys. I ain't gonna lie. He is. But I'm allowed to criticize the best player on the team if he's not playing well. I'll also criticize Enzo Fernandez too. He's had horrific games this season, but he's been more consistent than Cole. He's been more consistent than Moises Caicedo. But nobody wants to have those conversations because people think that I'm over here being a cuck or whatever it is for certain players, certain managers. I'm just speaking the truth of what I'm seeing. Like, I'm just speaking the truth on what I'm seeing. I had somebody in my comments last night calling me a Maresca PR cuck. It's like, bro, honestly, if you understand the relationship between the board and Maresca, you're going to see why I feel the way I do. But I don't agree with how he walked out. I don't agree with how he left the club. You could have left on better terms, realistically. But with that part being said, Joao Pedro, man, I mean, I'm absolutely gutted for the brother. Like, I really, really am. Only because I feel like he deserves to be there over a multitude of other players, right? And if I pull over here to show you the players that were picked over him, it's like these are the kind of things where it's like I don't think people are paying attention to his game as much, bro. Pull over to my Instagram, right? I mean, he even says a few days ago, Neymar is our idol to all of us. I hope he'll be at the World Cup with me. He should absolutely be there. But if you look at the players of this caliber we have today in Brazil, there's Vini, Rafinha, Esteval, and him. He doesn't mention anybody else that was selected over him, but besides Vini and Rafinha. That tells you all you need to know. And then you look at the stats that this brother has. Carried this Chelsea attack all season. His full stats in all competitions are 29 goals and assists in 51 games, which means in just over half of the games that he is playing, he's either getting a goal or an assist. It just doesn't make any sense. Luis Enrique, never heard of the guy before. Matthias Cunha, one of my favorite players in the Premier League. He's not the reason why Man United is sitting third, bro. He's had an average season at best since his move to Wolves. Endrick, he played a lot better when he got to France. Should not be getting in there over Joao Pedro. Martinelli. Do we need to begin about how Martinelli is one of the most overrated left wingers in the Premier League? A guy that he's not even starting for Arsenal, bro. A team that's going to win the Premier League. More than likely now. And I'll get to their disgraceful VAR decision in a second, because this just goes to show more and more and more why this country has rigged refereeing, bro. Like, it really, really does. But Neymar, a guy that I love Neymar, bro. He's one of my favorite players of this generation, man. You can make the argument he's the third best player in this generation behind Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. A lot of people will say other players. Neymar is probably that third best player, but he doesn't deserve to get there over Neymar. Ryan, I don't know how to say his name. He plays for Bournemouth, but again, does he deserve to get in there over Joao Pedro? I don't think so. Igor Thiago, a guy that's had one brilliant season with Brentford, but how many of those goals are penalties? Joao Pedro doesn't even take penalties, and he has 29 goals and assists. For a guy that doesn't take penalties and is getting that kind of total, he should be in the Brazilian team. Easy. The only two that should be getting in there over him are Vinny Jr. and the dude below him. That's it. That's it. In the attacking line, if Esteval is there, Esteval is also in that squad too. It's just craziness, bro. Like, it really doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't matter what people tell me when it comes to like certain players that should be in the squad. But again, like, I keep on saying this about the selection process. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like how do you justify not putting him in the squad? Neymar is going to find a way to get hurt in this World Cup, bro. And I'm not here for injuries, but it's just the reality. The guy cannot stay fit. He's 34 years old. He's played 600 minutes in the Brazilian league, bro. And it's no disrespect to that league, because a team from Brazil beat Chelsea in the Club World Cup pretty convincingly. But again, are we going to seriously sit here and say that Neymar deserves to be in the World Cup squad over Joao Pedro? right now. If we're going off of what he's done for the national team, I understand it. But if we're talking off of this season in the form that he's had in Joao Pedro's form, Neymar's also been injured. I don't understand it. And I'm telling you, I love Neymar, bro. He's one of the most disrespected players of all time and one of the most underappreciated players, to be honest with you, of all time. But he doesn't deserve to get in there over Joao Pedro. I'm getting sick and tired of people saying that, oh, we're happy that he's in there. You got his whole family sitting there almost like he's expecting to get there. What would have happened if he wasn't called for that? He would have looked like an absolute fool, but it would have been justified because you don't deserve to be there over Joao Pedro, bro. You really, really don't. Like I'm sorry. Like, you've done nothing to justify it, man. Can you at least play 1,000 minutes? Can you at least get to 20 goals without penalties? Doesn't make any sense to me, man. It does not make any sense to me. And then another player, bro, that I think there needs to be a major discussion about and that nobody wants to really talk about, bro, is Cole Palmer. I'm seeing people sit here and say he deserves to be in the England squad. For what? What has he done this season to justify it? Phil Foden would be ahead of him right now, honestly, and he hasn't even been playing as much, but Phil Foden's output has been better than Cole Palmer's. Jude Bellingham, Eze would all, in my opinion, be ahead of Cole Palmer right now in terms of the selection for England in the World Cup. I'm a Chelsea fan saying this shit, bro. I don't have any pride saying this shit, man. My favorite player for a reason. He's a cold brother. He's good when he's good, but realistically, he has not been good at all for the better part now of over a year. But nobody wants to have that conversation, bro. Nobody wants to say anything about that because they're scared to get talk shit on. But not this guy, JNR, a guy that I don't like his Enzo Fernandez takes, but he's been spot on with me this entire time on this. Tuchel should leave Cole Palmer at home. Don't call him up for the England World Cup squad. Need him with Xabi Alonso from day one of preseason. We have work to do, and we do. He needs to find his form, bro. He doesn't deserve to go, but he's going to end up going because his name is Cole Palmer. It's not going to be because he's been playing well. Maybe Tuchel can find a way to get the best out of him, but what if he has a stinker at the World Cup? Then will people start listening to what I've been saying about him? I've been saying this for 2 months, bro, that he does not deserve to be in the England squad at the World Cup. And I've had people from the UK reach out to me and say, you're absolutely right. He's been dog shit. Realistically, he hasn't been good since January of 2025, bro. It's May 2026. He had a purple patch in the Club World Cup. That's it. He hasn't been good since. Injuries, of course, are going to be a lot of people's excuse on why he hasn't been great, but he's been back from injury now since, what is it, mid-January? That's 4 months later. You got to find a performance from somewhere. His best performance is a hat trick against Wolves, bro. That's it. That's it. He hasn't been good since. Ooh, I love you. Thank you. I'm going to go grab something at my door real quick. Woo. Oh, yeah, hold on. I need to eat that. Go grab that at the door right quick. Yeah, he hasn't been good. Like Palmer, I'm trying to tell you guys, man. Palmer has not been good, realistically, since January 2025 against Bournemouth. He hasn't. Purple patch in the Club World Cup. That's it. He hasn't been good. And I don't care about the slack that I'll get for it because it's just realistic. You got 3 or 4 players ahead of him in that number 10 position and even in midfield, even on the right wing. Bukayo Saka has had a mid-season realistically, but he deserves to get there over Cole Palmer, bro. Marcus Rashford deserves to be in there over Cole Palmer right now. Do I need to keep going? Like, nobody wants to have these conversations because it's uncomfortable, right? But it's just realistic because you get to the World Cup based off form. Now, the Brazilian national team, you can make a lot of arguments about which players should be there or not. Gabriel Martinelli shouldn't be there. Like, he should not be there, right? Neymar should not be in that squad. Endrick, you can make an argument for it because he's had a better second half of the season, but he shouldn't be there over Joao Pedro. I'm just trying to keep it. I'm just trying to speak some realism into this community and into this sport and into the selection process. Because when I see the U.S. national team and I see their team selection, I'm not going to be happy with a few of the players that will get selected. But the U.S. national team doesn't have a lot of talented players. They don't have as much talent as people want to make them out to actually be. I've seen people say they'll get to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. What are you smoking, bro? Like, they're not getting to any quarterfinal. They'll get to the round of 16, and they're going to get blitzed by anybody that they play in the round of 16. They just will. Brazil, in my opinion, will not get out of the round of 16. There's better squads out there. There's better teams out there. Carlo Ancelotti is a great manager, bro. But he severely dropped the ball on this one. That attacking line does not scare me. Their back line, their defense, Anthony missed it too. I mean, he's had a better season than Cole Palmer, bro. Honestly, I'll be right back. It's like I said, man. When people start actually understanding, like, what's going on here, there's an agenda against Joao Pedro, bro. There really, really is. But I'll say this: Brazil is gonna have a rude awakening in the World Cup. I don't know. I think their group is decent. They'll probably win their group, get through the round of 32, and then in the round of 16, I think it's over for them. And then it's going to be another disappointing World Cup campaign. And you heard it here first. And I've been trying to tell you this, and I've been trying to say this for the longest time, man. This World Cup is going to have it's going to have probably the most upsets that you've seen at any World Cup. Because I think the sport is more advanced. I think the players are a lot better. There's more athleticism. And the squads are deeper. So you're going to find out that teams that should be getting to the quarterfinals won't be getting there. That should be getting to the last four will not be getting there. That's just how I see it. You guys can drop your World Cup predictions in the chat or whatever. The point that I'm saying here is that England will go far. I think England will go further than Brazil in the World Cup, but again, you have Joao Pedro in this squad, and I'm not overrating Joao Pedro. I think people need to understand this, that a guy that has the ability to link up play with the two wingers that are going to be guaranteed to start, Brazil's attack would have been devastating because Joao Pedro's clinical. I call him a smooth operator. He plays at his own pace. You need somebody like that in that squad. When you got two dribblers out wide, you need a guy who can link them up. Joao Pedro's not there to do any of the link up. Igor Thiago is a finisher, but he's not the best link up player, bro. You need somebody in the front line that can link up your two wingers, that can link midfield to attack. You don't have that. Their midfield is stacked. I like their midfield options. I like their back line options. I even like their goalkeepers. Which team am I going to support? Well, I'm American, so I'm going to go for my national team. But my second team that I'll probably be supporting is probably England. Yeah, I'm going to be supporting the United States, bro, because I am American and it's the right thing to do. But my second team would probably be England, honestly. That's who I would go after. Or that's who I would support, rather. A few things, though, I want to talk about before You like Neymar? Well, Neymar's great, bro, but I think he's past his time. Honestly, I think he's past his time. I think a player like Joao Pedro should be in there over him. He should be in there over Martinelli, over Endrick. That's just how I see it, bro. Like, Gabriel Martinelli is not better than Joao Pedro. Matheus Cunha, a guy that's been average this season, in my opinion, and he's one of the most entertaining players to watch in the Premier League, but he's not the reason why Manchester United are third right now, bro. He just isn't. That's Bruno Fernandes, a guy that will win player of the season. Bruno Fernandes is the reason why they are sitting third right now. Michael Carrick changed up the entire identity of that team, and they're sitting third for a reason. Cunha is not the reason why they're sitting third. He should be in that squad, but if you have Cunha, you should have Joao Pedro in there. Like Neymar overall is a great player, but he's past his time. This is a time for the next generation of Brazil to try to go win this World Cup. You have the right manager, but clearly he was high. Clearly he was high when he was making this attacking team the way that he wants. Vinny would always get in here. The two locks, in my opinion, were Rafinha and Vinny. Those are the two locks in terms of who's going to be with Brazil. And it is, and you're absolutely right, bro. It's emotion over quality. Neymar's quality has dipped significantly. Not to say that he won't do something at the World Cup. I don't think he's going to do anything, to be honest with you. I think he's going to find himself on the sidelines a lot more than actually starting. If he's starting in the first game for Brazil at the World Cup, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked because I don't think he's going to last a full 90 minutes. Joao Pedro can play a full 90. What about Portugal? I think Portugal can get to the semifinals, honestly. I think their team is ridiculous, bro. And it's crazy that Pedro Neto, he's in the squad. He's had a horrible season, bro. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the Chelsea boys, like Palmer and Pedro Neto, shouldn't be in their respective national teams for the World Cup. I think Portugal has enough quality wingers anyway. So I don't even think they needed Pedro Neto in that squad. Another thing I wanted to show you guys here, which is crazy. Now, a lot of people, I was calling out the protests yesterday about how Not a Project CFC dropped the ball with this, right? Normal service has resumed. Congrats for falling for Blue Co's bait again. I mean, this deal was already announced before any of the protests were even scheduled, honestly. But I'm not upset that Barco's coming to the club. It's just people were falling for the same shit over and over again. Right? And if you look at what I'll show you guys, and I have my stream up from yesterday on my YouTube. I was going in on this because once again, and this is the line right here that I'm trying to tell you guys that pisses me off the absolute most. And the board put out a statement today apologizing for the season. It's just more PR, guys. It's just more bullshit to try to get us back on side. This right here. There will always be a glimmer of hope following a promising managerial hire like Xabi Alonso. So because Xabi Alonso got hired, guys, the protest has now been canceled. This is exactly what they wanted. My question is, where were these protests earlier in the season when Enzo Maresca was here? Where was the protest a few years ago? They weren't there. Beginning of the season, Chelsea were winning games, and there was no protest schedule because Chelsea were in good form. Now, all of a sudden, Chelsea are in a nightmarish form. And you guys want to schedule protests, and now that a glimmer of hope has been hired, there's no protest. You guys are never serious. You guys were never serious about doing this protest. It's crazy. That's why, like, I was questioning why you guys are even doing it on FA Cup final Saturday. You're supposed to keep the momentum going. And it doesn't matter if there's people with bigger platforms saying blue co out. It doesn't really matter. You guys can continue to say that. The ownership is just laughing at that every single time we say it now because they hired the manager everybody wanted. It's ridiculous, bro. You guys weren't serious about it. And don't sit there and try to schedule a protest next season because no one's going to take it seriously, bro. No one's going to take it seriously. Just stop doing it. Right? And then this I found to be pretty crazy, right? Chelsea are shaping up a legal battle with Man City over the punitive appointment of Enzo Maresca. Now, Chelsea would be entitled to go get compensation from Man City because of this, right? The guy seemed like he was ready to go to Man City. He left this, that, and the third or whatever. Maresca's relationship, bro, with the board went sideways as soon as his second season started. He asked for a few positions, but again, somebody came into my chat yesterday and was saying like it doesn't give him right to act like an entitled bitch. I'm going to say this. You're right that he doesn't have a right to act entitled, but it went deeper than just not getting players into the squad that he wanted. It was more or less his team selection was being tinkered with the board, micromanaging what players were able to go in and out of the club, the medical department saying certain players were fit and they weren't fit and they still played because they wanted to up the transfer value. I think if any manager was dealing with that, he would be out too, but I don't agree with how he left the club. He just walked out on these players. That's something that I don't agree with. You could have went out a different way, but Pep Guardiola also supposedly is not happy that his departure. I mean, everyone knew he was leaving at the end of the season, but to respect him and everything like that, man, you got to let him announce that. You got to let him announce that by himself, bro. Fabrizio Romano is a great. He's great, but brother, you got to let him announce that. Like you got to let him announce that, dude. Like it's stuff like this, man, where it's just like the media just loves stirring up drama. And unfortunately for Pep, he had to go on a Zoom call with a lot of his players and say, yeah, guys, I'm leaving at the end of the season. I wonder how they're going to feel today when they have to play, when they need 3 points against Bournemouth to stay in the title race. And I'm praying that Man City do beat Bournemouth because it'll help us out if we do beat Spurs today, which I'm going to say this again. Chelsea Football Club, don't you fucking dare lose to Tottenham today. Don't do it. Because it's already toxic enough in this fan base. You lose to Spurs at home, it's going to get even worse. It don't matter who the new manager is. And it doesn't matter if you want to put out statements like this that I'm going to read to you guys right now because I just find this statement to be an absolute farce, bro. Where's that? That's right here. Go ahead. I can probably just read it like this. Just in, the sporting leadership team and directors have issued a statement in tonight's match day program. As we welcome you to Stamford Bridge today for one final time this season in a game that always carries a special meaning, we do so mindful that it is to the point at which a campaign is ultimately defined. The season has been one of the most demanded resilience, belief in unity across the men's, women's, and academy teams. Our players and staff have continued to represent the club to its commitment and purpose while striving every day to push higher standards. The journey of a season is rarely straightforward, but progress is measured by how a group responds to a challenge. And in that sense, we have continued to grow. At this time, we are clear in our assessment of the campaign as a whole. It began in strong fashion with the club being crowned Club World Cup champions at the FIFA Club World Cup. We are proud of that success and what it represents for this group. We recognize that the season overall has not met the standards, expectations, and ambitions that define Chelsea Football Club. Shut up with that shit, bro. You guys have been here for 4 seasons. We understand the disappointment that brings, and we share it. This is a club that measures itself against the very highest levels, and we know we must do better. That responsibility is clear, and it is one we fully accept. The club supporters expect more, and so do we. We remain clear that our ambition at Chelsea, our aim is to build teams that compete with courage and intelligence, bravery and unity, while establishing foundations that endure beyond a single season. That approach has been guided our recruitment, our development strategy in alignment with the academy in the first teams. Creating sustainable success means investing in talent, but also in time, structure, and shared values. No club wants to experience change in the head coach position, and we are continuing to work to bring stability in that role. With that in mind, we are delighted to announce the appointment of Xabi Alonso as manager of the men's team on Sunday. Xabi is one of the most respected figures in the modern game and will begin work with us this summer. Having already experienced coaching at the highest level, he is not only an outstanding coach, but also a proven leader. Essentially, man, this is a load of rubbish, bro. This is a load of rubbish, bro. Why? Because we've had 4 years of this shit. And Eunice says it perfect. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me go back to his page. Well, I like this. Hopefully it's true, right? Chelsea are one of the clubs interested in Jared Bowen, believing he can offer competition down the right wing and cover the striker position. I mean, he's more of a winger, but sure. I wouldn't mind him. Right? These lot are shameless PR in full motion. Exactly. Yeah. It is PR in full motion, man. It's crazy. Do you think any team in the PL outside the top 6 in 10 years can win the Premier League outside the top 6 because of their ongoing project? I've said that there's no longer a big 6 or top 6 or whatever. When you have teams like Aston Villa gate crashing, when you have teams like Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, right? With the ability, with less foundation and less money, and they're able to get into the into the big 6, there's no longer a big 6 anymore. I don't think they'll win the Premier League in the next 10 years. But I think if the gap continues to close between teams like Chelsea and the rest of the teams just below them, anything is possible. We saw Leicester do it in like 10 years ago, bro. And they were facing relegation a year prior. So it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because I just think the discrepancy with the finances between the top 6 or the big 6 clubs and the rest is just too much. But if teams like Brighton, if teams like Brentford, if teams like Bournemouth get into the Champions League, more money will be given to them, and they'll probably be able to compete at that level, honestly. But you also need top managers to be at those clubs. That's how I see it. But do you think any team could, bro? Pull over to Instagram again. There's a few things here for Instagram that I'll talk about here. Actually, Xabi Alonso apparently will have a conversation with Enzo Fernandez, because Enzo has been unhappy at Chelsea this season and is worried about the future. I don't blame him. Any top player should be worried about the future of this club, regardless of who the manager is. He wants a challenge for top trophies and wants Chelsea to match his ambitions. This club should do everything in its power to keep Enzo Fernandez, bro. Xabi wants to keep him. and they'll have a meeting with him soon to convince him to stay. So he's still 50-50 on staying. I think he's going to end up staying after a conversation with him. But if Real Madrid come knocking, if Man City come knocking, it would not surprise me if Chelsea pulled the trigger and sell him. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Right? Then it says here, Christian Romero, Enzo Fernandez has already had new conversations with the club over a new contract, but nothing was agreed at this point. In these conversations, he told the club to sign Christian Romero and wants to see more top players come in. If his ambition from the club and a new and improved terms, then he can be convinced to stay at Chelsea. I think you're going to have to bring in top players to convince him to stay, which means you're going to need to sell players, big players, or just players that are deadwood, realistically. There was one more thing here I wanted to show on here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I mean, I saw this was the first thing I saw. Breaking, Chelsea are shaping up a legal battle with Man City over the punitive appointment of Enzo Maresca. The expectation is that Chelsea will seek compensation from City with the added threat of disclosure about the terms of Maresca's departure from Stamford Bridge. Jesus Christ, I have indigestion right now. And the events in the months leading up to it. I mean, he was probably talking to them anyway, bro. I don't blame him. Because Chelsea are just in the mud, man. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, bro, about the Big Six that I think people really need to understand is that there's no longer a Big Six in the Premier League, bro. Like, too many teams are finding their way to get into the top six. Aston Villa, bro, is the perfect example of this right now. Brighton, Brentford, Sunderland, bro. Sunderland are sitting ninth, and they can gate crash the top six. A team that was in the championship last season, there's no longer a Big Six anymore, bro. The Premier League now is too competitive to say that the same top six teams are going to finish from like 1 to 6 in whatever order you want to talk about, because Tottenham are sitting in the are 2 points above the relegation zone, bro. Chelsea are sitting 10th, and they're like 4 or 5 points off of 16th. So there's no longer a Big Six anymore. And people that continue to say the Big Six, stop saying that, bro, because there's no longer a Big Six anymore. That's been dead for honestly, it's been dead since Leicester has won the Premier League. It really, really has. Because even years after Leicester won the Premier League, they were still trying to get into the Champions League during COVID. They missed Champions League football 2 straight seasons because they had a bad run at the end of the season. There's no longer a Big Six. When you see teams like Tottenham fighting relegation, when you see teams like Manchester United sitting 15th in the Premier League last season, there's no longer a Big Six, bro. It's been dead. It doesn't matter about the amount of money that you have anymore. It's about how well do you perform in the season. And teams like Aston Villa, teams like Brighton, teams like Bournemouth, teams like Brentford, all these teams, bro, Sunderland, Newcastle, are finding ways to get into the top 6 and into European spots. You didn't used to see that. Burnley at one point a few seasons ago got into a Europa League qualifying match, bro. That's all you need to know. The Premier League is getting very competitive. And if you look at La Liga, bro, La Liga is the same thing. From 8th to 19th, I think it's a 5-point difference, bro. Meaning you drop a couple more games, you're going to be in the relegation zone. But if you win a couple games, you'll be in Europe. That's how competitive these top leagues are now, bro. Like, I just think that Big Six argument needs to be put away. And there's too many big YouTubers saying this shit about the Big Six, bro. Knock it off with that. You're clearly not paying attention to how competitive the league is. You guys are looking at the finances of these clubs and why it's considered a Big Six. It's not a Big Six anymore, man. It's been dead for years. And when you guys actually start seeing that, you know where you heard it here first from. You know where you heard it from. Me, because I've been saying this shit for like the longest time. I got receipts in my phone saying that. Like, that's what I'm saying. I may not live in the UK. I may not live in London. I may not be living in Europe. But this brother right here knows what he's talking about, and he knows what he's been observing. from 5,000 miles away, where people say Americans don't know a damn thing about football, bro. Have a day off, honestly, right? And this part here I want to share before I talk about the Arsenal thing, man, because Arsenal, bro, VAR and Arsenal, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just craziness to me, man. If some of you actually knew what happened between Enzo Maresca and the board fully, you would stop tweeting nonsense about him instantly and start cooking the board instead. And what have I been saying? The issue has never been the managers. The issue is the board. And when you see bullshit PR shit that we see them post, man, it's absolutely despicable, bro. It's despicable. And this is another thing that I'm just finding to be laughable, bro. This isn't happening. Chelsea have made contact with Kylian Mbappe's mother. Really, guys? Really? Are we that desperate? Are we that desperate? You're going to have to sell half the club to get this brother through the door. Not worth it. I've said Kylian Mbappe would be at least 230 million at a minimum. No club is coming near that. Real Madrid are stuck with him. He came in on a free. You signed an insane sign-on fee. You gave him ridiculous wages. You're not getting him. No one's getting him. The new boss, the new Chelsea boss, is dreaming of bringing the Real Madrid superstar to London after enjoying a great relationship during their time in Spain together. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, why would he leave Real Madrid for Chelsea? It's ridiculous, bro. People really have enough time. And Transfer News Live, how many followers do you have, bro? 3.1 million followers. And you're posting garbage like this, bro? It must be a slow day at the office, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. There's other stuff that you could be posting about than bullshit posts like this, bro. Like, it's ridiculous, man. But again, we're gonna talk about this bullshit from Arsenal yesterday, man. Let me go ahead and find the actual post for it. Because the PGMOL, bro, the Premier League, you guys are an absolute disgrace, man. And no, I'm not salty because Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. I'm salty as a football fan, bro. If this was any other player making a challenge like that Kai Havertz made yesterday, he's getting sent off. He just is. It doesn't make any sense to me that we sit here, match week 37, right? And because Arsenal probably need to get 3 points or 3 points against Crystal Palace, they need their full squad available. Now, Kai Havertz he's been good since he's gone to Arsenal, sure, but he should have been sent off yesterday, bro. There's no reason why Arsenal should have finished that game with 11 men, and then he gets subbed off 2 minutes later. That is it's not a good look, bro. It really, really isn't. I don't understand the thought process in VAR and the PGMOL. How is he and the same thing happened against West Ham. You got Trossard and Declan Rice grabbing 2 West Ham players. Yes, David Raya got fouled. We understand that. But Arsenal have been doing this for 2 straight seasons, bro. Grabbing players in the box. This is the only team that doesn't have a red card or conceded a penalty all season. How does that happen? Just admit you want Arsenal to win the Premier League. Just admit it. It doesn't matter if I'm a Chelsea fan. It doesn't matter if I'm a fan of Man City, bro. It doesn't really matter. Anybody with a brain and 2 eyes knows Kai Havertz should have been sent off yesterday. But clearly, the VAR, the PGMOL, and the referee in the middle yesterday had no idea what the fuck he was doing. I mean, can we take a look at this, bro? Actually, I think I know who I can go to for this. Give me a second. So let me show you this, bro. In case people didn't watch this yesterday, look at this challenge. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I'm not even showing you. Here we go. Look at this challenge, bro. VAR had a look. Can you explain to me how this isn't a red? Arsenal fans, if you're watching, how is that not a red card? I saw a similar challenge to when Moises Caicedo got sent off for something pretty similar. How is that not a red card? They need to explain themselves, bro. Realistically, they really, really do. How is that not a red? You even slowed it down. And people say that when you slow down a replay, it looks worse. It looks worse as you slow it down. And it's not even a yellow card. I don't even know if he got booked because I didn't see a yellow card for it. How is that not? How? Like, if we take a look at the Moises Caicedo 1-2, right? Let me go ahead and find that. I might need to find it on YouTube or something. Hold on. Because I don't have time to search on Twitter for this shit. See if I can find it. You can make the art, bro. Like, actually, after seeing this, Kai Havertz was worse, bro. Look at this.
Marino. Oh, Caicedo.
People were telling me that is a red card, but the thing that Kai Havertz did yesterday isn't.
It's a lovely touch. That's a red card.
Kai Havertz.
He's going off for the.
I don't.
Marino. Oh, Caicedo.
Like look at this. I mean, this is
the replay shows.
This is not as bad. Look at this.
It's a lovely touch.
That's not as bad as this. I'm sorry. Look at this. This is from behind, nowhere near the ball. Can somebody explain to me how that's not a red, but the one that Caicedo had was? I need somebody to actually explain this to me. Like, I don't understand it. And I've watched this sport, bro, for a very, very, very long time. That's a red card every single day of the week, man. Every single day of the week, bro. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But that's the story of Arsenal, bro. Getting away with murder. Oh, let's take a look at this. So it says here, Chelsea have focused on signing young players, but are keen to add more experience, bro. I'm tired of hearing that. Their interest in Jared Bowen is not at an advanced stage, but they believe he could offer competition on the right and potentially provide cover for their strikers. I'd rather have him on the left than like who we have now. Honestly, I'd rather have him on the left. Freaking ridiculous. I cannot get over that decision yesterday, man. Always a pleasure talking to Chelsea Fan TV on YouTube. Bro, man. I'm telling you, bro. People are not happy with this man. And it's like I said, there's no reason why you should have canceled the protest, because you guys did it on a cup final Saturday. But now that Xabi Alonso's hired, let me go ahead and take a look at this. Let me hear you guys' reasonings. How long is this video?
Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. Today is it's a big day because we're playing Spurs, but this is like a different type of video, really. I mean, we don't do many of these, but obviously I know Jacob, I know David from Not a Project CFC, and some big news came out about the upcoming protest against Spurs. Slightly different to what happened at Wembley, where we marched down Wembley Way. This wasn't going to be anything like that. This was going to be an in-stadium demonstration where basically in the 22nd minute, fans would turn their back on the team for a minute. The reason it was in the 22nd minute was because that's when Blue Coat took over in 2022. And an update came out within the last sort of 24 hours. And there's been quite a large reaction to it. So I'm just going to read it out, and then I'm going to speak with Jacob and David and just get a little bit of clarity and context, because I feel like there's a lot of questions that may have been addressed in the statement, but sometimes it's good to actually hear it from, not in a written sense. So let's get straight into it. So on your page, Not a Project CFC, you put protest update following discussions held over the weekend. And after gaining feedback from supporters, we have decided not to proceed with our in-stadium demonstration at tomorrow's match.
I think the fans that are going to the game tonight should still turn their back in the 22nd minute, in spite of them canceling it, in spite of Blue Co, bro. I think it should still happen.
Match against Tottenham. We wish to be very clear that this is in no way a statement of intent to cease and desist with our efforts to restore the values and identity that made this club great. We are always trying to gauge the mood among supporters and demonstrate our frustrations when the time feels right. And on reflection, we wish to take a step back and review our position over the summer before taking further action. While we have huge reservations about how much self-reflection has happened at the club, where not one sporting director seems to have been held accountable for the failings of the past 4 seasons, we understand that as supporters, there will always be a glimmer of hope following a promising managerial hire like Xabi Alonso.
So the hiring of Xabi Alonso, bro, is the reason why you canceled it. You guys are clowns, bro. Absolute clowns.
Supporters' protest marches may have been influential in pushing the club to replace Liam Rossigny with someone more worthy of the role. However, we know Chelsea supporters are tired of this season and the loss of what a great feeling it should be following our club. And a demonstration at this point would not feel like the right timing. It's not just the protest marches that have made a difference, and we are not trying to claim victory there. Wider supporter scrutiny is...
What difference have you guys made? The board and the directors are laughing at the protest now. What have you done to actually make a difference? Absolutely nothing. Because they put out a bullshit statement. They hire Xabi Alonso, which I'm here for. But again, because you hire a guy like that, you cancel the protest. You guys are clowns, bro. Absolute clowns, man. Like we want our fucking Chelsea back, bro. We're not trying to be CFC LDN. It needs to be Chelsea Football Club, bro. Not CFC LDN. You guys absolutely dropped the ball. It's shameless behavior, honestly. You guys don't care enough. And I still think the fans going to the game tonight should still be chanting, fuck off Iqbali. Fuck off Blue Co. Get the fuck out of the club. And as much as we hate Tottenham, I don't want to hear too many Tottenham chants tonight. Even though before every single game there is an anti-Tottenham chant, go ahead and keep doing that. Have your chants against Tottenham. But you guys dropped the ball, bro.
Has played its role with greater focus on financials and increased media attention. It will take considerably more than one appropriate managerial hire for us to believe Blueco are suitable custodians of our football club. And a huge question mark remains over their intention and capability in a number of areas, including ticket prices, potential new stadium, record financial losses, front of shirt sponsorship, and respecting the club's identity. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments across the summer. We'll also be looking at how we best approach next season as we look to formalise the Not a Project CFC group. As a fan base, we weren't ready or prepared for an ownership group of this nature, with question marks over some of those who are currently holding positions to represent the fans. We believe a group who can directly hold the club to account with total independence is required. As such, Not a Project CFC will be in touch in due course to gauge supporter views on further action. So, I mean, quite a long
Don't
statement.
even do the protest, bro.
But, I mean, it had a huge impact. I mean, over 500,000 people have seen that statement on X as we look at it right now, and many, many reactions all over. So, I mean, just off the top, I mean, David, Jacob, whoever wants to go first, like, can you just talk to me about how you came to this decision and, you know, why did you decide to cancel it so close to the time?
Yeah, I'll jump in first. So I think what's important to remember is that in-stadium protests are something that we haven't necessarily done or, you know, able to get off the ground.
You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Have you guys seen the images of what Lazio is doing? Have you guys seen the images of that? They're protesting against their ownership, their board. Fans aren't even attending games. The Coliseum down in Rome, where Roma and Lazio play. When Lazio play, there's nobody in the stadium. Maybe about 2,000-3,000 people, if that. They're boycotting the ownership. They don't want money going into their pockets. People going to the game tonight are going to be helping out the ownership, sure, but the people going can still turn their backs, can still have anti-Clear Lake and Blueco chants. The fact that you guys haven't even attempted to do this yet, and you're saying you guys haven't done it yet, you have to start somewhere. You have to. But you guys didn't because of what? They hired Xabi Alonso. That's the only reason, bro.
The next evolution. We felt it would be the next evolution of the following the marches. We always maintained that we didn't want to kind of do the same thing on multiple different occasions. We were we had time constraints around following the United protest to then get something done by the end of the season. There was definitely appetite to do something before the end of the season from the wider fan base. So
we landed on
the United the Wembley protest.
It sounds like excuses.
But between the United protest and also the Wembley protest, we do a lot of stuff in the background, and I think that's important to remember. This isn't just we spin up a sort of statement on social media and then just hope to do some media before it. We have various different conversations with people in the background, and I think for the in-stadium protest, we felt that we would always require some element of support from supporters groups that represent match-going fans. And we had conversations over the last few months with supporters groups that are ongoing, that privately support what we're doing, but publicly hadn't necessarily come to a point of advocating for what we wanted to achieve. There had been statements released by said supporters groups that indirectly supported what we were doing prior to the United protest, and we believe that had an impact on numbers on the day. And actually, we felt that moving forward,
before I continue on to this, I want to see the comments, bro. We're gonna read the comments together. Look, the first thing that we're looking at, there's 96 comments. We're not going to read all of them, obviously, but so a hipster manager coming in, making majority of the fans not wanting to protest or take a stand against the owners. Sheep mentality. Keep up the good work, lads. The okay mate mentality, bro. I mean, that's exactly what's going on, bro. I don't trust him ever again. Blue coat out, and if this doesn't help, might have won the fight, but they haven't won the war. Content creators are right. Our fan base is so easily pacified. It's why these protests won't achieve anything. Alonso is not the same as Pep or Ancelotti's level savior. He's not. The owners have fooled you guys. I will never trust you guys again. Like I said, I'm happy that Xabi Alonso's here, but you needed to continue the message of Blue Co out. It didn't matter who the manager was, bro. The issue has never been the managers, man. It's never been the managers, and like they fell for it again. They may have played a massive part in getting them to rethink, but they're doing the same PR bullshit that we just saw, that we've been seeing. The statement they put out earlier is bullshit, bro. I disagree with one of them saying people who haven't been on a protest shouldn't have an opinion. That further divides the fans, making it easier for all the directors and owners not to be held accountable. This happening to the club bro, exactly. The people that weren't able to attend these protests, but the ones that are on platforms like me on social media, people like Eunice, people like, I'm sure Johnny Minerals was in the area, right? But at the same time, the people that aren't able to attend the protests but have insane Blue Co out for the longest time, we have a great opinion. You guys aren't listening to those opinions because you think the people that are attending these protests are the only opinions that matter, which is bullcrap, bro. It's bullcrap. I've only missed one protest due to illness. I mean, keep going, lads. You're doing well. It makes sense. This would have been the ideal game to do it at because of who's coming to the bridge and the severity of this game. They dropped the ball so much in this that they should not be organizing another protest ever again. You had ample opportunities earlier in the season to schedule protests, but because Chelsea were in good form, you didn't do it. It's ridiculous, man. Ignore the negative keyboard warriors and keep up the excellent work. The keyboard warriors are an issue, and I've spoke on that last week, but the people that have been consistent with this aren't keyboard warriors. They're speaking the truth about what's going on. Johnny Minerals ain't no keyboard warrior, bro. Eunice ain't no keyboard warrior, bro. Bobby Fairview ain't no keyboard warrior, bro. What are you talking about? That Sterling contract gave players this lengthy contracts, and then they all have follow-ups, has put these bosses on the defensive so that they have to rethink them and they have to rethink the recruitment policy. Yeah, I've been saying that since 2023, bro. I'm not gonna bother watching the rest of it because it's just gonna piss me off, honestly. But this is what I'll say because I'm gonna probably end this stream in a few minutes because I need to get ready for work soon. and I want to spend time with my girl for a little bit. Again, they completely dropped the ball with this. And no one is going to take, if you guys schedule another protest, you guys aren't going to take it seriously. No one's going to take you guys seriously anymore. And they have themselves to blame for that. Because there's people like me that don't have the biggest platform, but is trying to get my voice out there, that has been saying this for the longest time, bro. And I've had this on my stream for the longest time, bro. I didn't type this out. I typed this out a month ago, right? But I've been consistent saying Blue Co out. Go check out my earlier videos on this channel. I've been saying this. They've been needing to get out for the longest time. And the fact that you guys were organizing a protest where fans can actually speak their minds on what's going on, you guys canceled that. I'm still encouraging the match-going fans tonight at the bridge to turn their backs in the 22nd minute and just don't look at the game. Walk out of the stadium. Walk out of your seats for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you need to, because there's still match-going fans that are going to be anti-Blue Co and anti-Clear Lake, bro. That's not going to change. But you guys were going to have an in-stadium demonstration on this, and you canceled it because you've never done it before. That's a bull crap excuse, bro. That's a bull crap excuse, and you guys know it's an excuse. You guys cowered out. You guys suckered in, and you see the statement they put out today in their match-going program. They don't care about us. They never cared about us. Private equity, business opportunities like this don't belong in football, bro. And they never have been. And they never should be in football. What a disgrace, bro. What a disgrace. But last a few things here before I go. My prediction for tonight's game, which takes place in about 2.5 hours. I do have Chelsea winning 3-1. I think Chelsea can get the job done today. I think they understand the occasion on who's coming to the bridge, what the possibilities of beating Spurs will do. Put them one game away from getting relegated, and you hope West Ham finds a way to beat Leeds, because I don't think Spurs beat Everton on the final day. But I'm just hoping West Ham beat Leeds at the London Stadium, because they understand they don't get anything out of that game. If they don't win that game, they're cooked. They're relegated. West Ham need to do everything to beat Leeds. We need to take care of business against Spurs to help out West Ham. And it's like, I don't like West Ham, but I'd rather see them stay up than Spurs. I want Spurs in the mud. I want Spurs out. I want Spurs gone. Now, it will suck because it's a guaranteed 6 points every season. But again, they've been dreadful. They've been horrible. They have a different manager now, but I don't think Roberto De Zerbi is going to really change anything. I really, really don't. I really don't. So I got Chelsea winning 3-1. Cole Palmer, my man, for the love of God, can you show up, please? For one game or these last 2 games, just show up, bro. Just show up. Like, you played decent against Liverpool, but then you played terrible against Man City. You have a good game against Wolves, you score a hat-trick, and then you're horrific after that. You've been a no-show all season, bro. Can you please, for the love of God, show up for one game this season, man? Like, I'm begging for it, bro. You want to be in this England setup? You want to be in this England setup, bro? You need to show up. Otherwise, in my opinion, you ain't getting there. You're not getting there, and you don't deserve to be there. And I hate saying that about him. And then my final thought on Joao Pedro. What a disgrace, bro. no reasoning why a guy that has, and I will show it on screen. There's no reason why a guy with this output should be missing from the World Cup, from the World Cup, bro. There's no reason for it. Zero reason. But look, man, I'm Jason, No Filter Charles. We'll see you guys in the next stream tomorrow. I got work. I got to get my work week started. I got a lot of stuff coming up. The end of the week, I'm going to be seeing the anatomy of my baby, of my kid. That's coming at the end of the year. So I'm really excited to see that. And I can't wait to meet my kid finally, man. But yeah, I'm Jason, No Filter Charles. Drop a like, comment, sub. I wasn't on Twitter today, even though I generally stream on there as well. I need to take care of a few things before I do that. Outside of that,